Hey again, everyone. Now, I know this is a question that I have posed before, but I keep getting stuff along this same line, so I'm going to do this one more time. This is, once again, for all of you Christians out there. What is it that makes your interpretation of the Bible more valid or even correct than, any other interpretation? Because there are vast numbers of interpretations of the Bible. Many people have used the Bible to justify upright, heinous shit. What is it that makes, your nice, good version the right one? Now, before anyone, tries to delve into, theology, I'll go right up. That's just a minor hobby of mine, so I can't really debate you on any, major theological principles, but that's still just other people's interpretations of the Bible. Without having actual testimonials from the authors of the Bible on what they mean, how can you say that theirs or yours is any more valid than any other interpretation? Because just, looking back and saying, oh, well, St. Augustine or Thomas Aquinas said this, that's just, an appeal to authority. You're picking some, historical figure of note and saying that's what they said, so it has to be true. What makes theirs right? What makes yours right? I'm just curious on this one, because, interpretation's just that. It's, what you're drawing from it, but it's not necessarily what's intended by it. I mean, if you look at the movie American Psycho, a bunch of different people have a bunch of different interpretations of the movie. There's those who say that, well, Bateman was insane and this was all just in his head, he was going delusional. Then there's someone, me, who's going to say, no, Bateman actually killed the people, you're a dumbass. Which, aside, my interpretation of the movie's actually right, because if you go in and, see interviews from Brenton Ellis, the author of the book, and Mary Harmon, the director of the movie, they're going to tell you Bateman actually killed the people. The movie's a fucking satire. Everyone around him was so fucking narcissistic and self-centered that they didn't notice that he was a complete raving psychopath killing people. And also, he wasn't even that discreet or fucking, good about hiding it from anyone. If you saw his fucking interviews, with the detective, he couldn't hide his fucking guilt for shit. But still no one picked up on it. And people point to, when he's shooting at the cops and he blows up the cop car with his gun. Well, that's not real. He has to have been delusional. It's called dramatization, dipshit. He wasn't, when he looks at the gun, he's not thinking, holy fuck, did I just blow up a cop car with a gun? He's thinking, shit, I just killed 2 cops, blew up a cop car, and I'm still getting away with this shit. I mean, you look at the lawyer at the end, people trying to say, well, he had lunch with Alan in fucking London, so it has to be fake. I mean, fuck, the lawyer thought Bateman was Davies. How the fuck are you gonna trust who he says he had lunch with? I mean, fuck, that was the other theme of the movie. Everyone was, trying to conform to each other, and look, they all looked alike. They couldn't tell each other apart. You had, throughout the whole movie, people looking at, calling people by the wrong fucking name. I'm getting a little bit off topic going into this, but the point being, without those fucking, the, stuff from the author and the director saying how to interpret the movie, what makes my interpretation any more valid than someone who says Bateman was delusional, because they can point out facts that points to their stuff from the movie. And also, you may look at this and say, well, if, you say you've got the right one, and you can say there's a right, interpretation of this movie, what means there isn't a right interpretation of the Bible? And I'll give you that. I'm sure one of you actually does have a right interpretation of the Bible. I'm going with the literalists because, if you remember, this was a book written for a group of people who couldn't fucking read. I really doubt they were going to draw any, vast hyperbole out of it. But, my second question, even if your interpretation is the right one, how the fuck does that make the book true? I have the right interpretation of American Psycho, but that doesn't mean that in the 80s there was a serial killer named Patrick Bateman who blew up a cop car with a handgun and tried to feed a cat to an ATM machine. So, love to hear some feedback on this one. Please, somebody answer me. I would love to hear back from you. Peace.